As the years pass, something subtle, yet significant, begins to shift within your body. And it often starts in the legs. The change is so gradual that you might not even notice it at first. Before the fatigue sets in, before the unsteadiness becomes obvious, your leg strength begins to fade quietly in the background. And with that slow loss of strength, everything else starts to follow. Your balance becomes less reliable. Everyday movements require more effort. And for many older adults, this leads to falls that alter their lives in an instant. These falls remain the leading cause of serious injury among seniors. But the truth is, they're not inevitable. With the right habits and mindful choices, it is entirely possible to protect your mobility and preserve your independence. One of the most overlooked but critical steps is understanding which foods could be working against you. That's why today we're shining a light on 5 fruits that may seem harmless, maybe even healthy, but are quietly draining your leg strength over time. There's a lot of confusion out there, and some well-meaning advice has done more harm than good. This is your chance to learn what really matters. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Grapes. The sweetest threat to your strength. Among the many fruits that fill our kitchens and catch our eyes in the grocery aisles, grapes often feel like a simple pleasure. They're easy to wash, quick to eat, and taste naturally sweet, making them a go-to snack for many, especially older adults. But behind their glossy skin lies a reality few truly understand. For those over 60, especially anyone dealing with balance issues, muscle weakness, or blood sugar concerns, grapes can quietly work against your health in surprising and serious ways. Though they look harmless, grapes pack a heavy load of sugar, over 20 grams in just 1 cup. That sugar is mostly in the form of fructose. And while it may sound gentler than table sugar, it behaves very differently in the aging body. Fructose bypasses the usual insulin response and heads straight to the liver, where it's more likely to contribute to fat buildup. This process increases the risk of fatty liver disease, inflammation, and promotes metabolic dysfunction. But the most damaging effect for seniors isn't what happens in the liver. It's what happens to the nervous system and muscles. Every time you snack on grapes, especially without other foods to slow absorption, your blood sugar spikes. These sudden surges may feel harmless, perhaps even go unnoticed, but over time, they affect your brain's ability to send clear, timely messages to your muscles. That's when reaction times slow. Balance becomes less dependable. Movements once fluid start to feel shaky or uncertain. And for older adults, those subtle shifts often lead to increased risk of falls and a growing sense of instability. Even worse, grapes offer almost no fiber, which means their sugar rushes into your bloodstream unbuffered. It's like sending fuel straight into a fire. And if you already have pre-diabetes, insulin resistance, or even early-stage muscle loss, this frequent sugar surge becomes more than just a dietary concern. It becomes a daily strain on your body's stability and resilience. And that's just fresh grapes. Once you add in dried versions like raisins or grape-based juices, the risks multiply. These processed forms strip out the water and concentrate the sugar, leaving your system to absorb an even more potent hit. The fiber is gone. The hydration is lost. And what remains is a spike that your aging body is forced to manage again and again. What once seemed like a healthy, convenient fruit can, over time, become a quiet threat to your strength and balance. And yet, grapes are just the beginning. Because the next fruit on this list may be sitting on your kitchen counter right now, trusted, familiar, and potentially even more disruptive to the muscles that keep you standing tall. 2. Ripe bananas. The friendly fruit that silently weakens you. Ripe bananas have long held a reputation as one of the safest, most senior-friendly fruits. Soft, sweet, easy to digest. They seem like a gentle companion for aging bodies. They require no prep. Sit quietly on the counter and offer that familiar taste many have relied on for decades. And, yes, they're full of potassium, a mineral vital for muscle and heart function. But what many don't realize is that the ripeness we often see as convenient is also where the real problem begins, especially for seniors hoping to maintain leg strength, coordination, and independence. As a banana ripens, its complex starches break down into simple sugars. What starts as a firm, fibrous fruit becomes a soft, sugary spike to your system. A medium-ripe banana contains over 27 grams of carbohydrates, including 14 grams of fast-acting sugar. And unlike a younger, more active body that can metabolize and burn that sugar efficiently, the aging body, particularly one with insulin resistance or limited mobility struggles, that sugar rush doesn't just come and go. It sends blood glucose soaring, then crashing, triggering a cascade of physiological consequences. Each time blood sugar rises sharply, your body shifts its resources toward regulating energy, not rebuilding muscle. Protein synthesis slows. Muscle repair is delayed. And over time, the fibers that give your legs strength and stability begin to erode. It's not a dramatic fall, it's a slow leak. Day after day, the legs you depend on become less reliable. Not because of age alone, but because of how your body is forced to respond to constant spikes and crashes. The effects go deeper than fatigue. Bananas, especially overripe ones, promote systemic inflammation, and one of the most vulnerable places that inflammation shows up is in the nervous system. Your muscles are only as responsive as the signals they receive from your brain. But when those signals are slowed or distorted by inflammation, your ability to move with confidence suffers. Reaction times lag. Steps become unsteady. Balance, once automatique, starts to falter. All this triggered not by an obvious danger, but by a fruit many consider a daily staple. That doesn't mean bananas need to be banished forever, but they demand respect. For older adults looking to preserve strength, it's smarter to opt for less ripe bananas, which are lower in sugar and higher in resistant starch. Pairing them with a handful of nuts or a spoonful of nut butter can further slow the sugar release and soften the metabolic blow. But even ripe bananas pale in comparison to what's coming next. A fruit often labeled as super in tropical diets, yet for aging bodies, it may quietly be fueling fat storage, metabolic stress, and the very inflammation that weakens legs from the inside out. 3. Mangoes. The tropical temptation that betrays your muscles. There's a certain charm to the golden glow of a ripe mango. Soft, juicy, and almost floral in fragrance. It feels like a gift from nature, comforting, exotic, and full of life. For many older adults, it brings back memories of summer afternoons and tropical vacations. It's the kind of fruit that seems to nourish the soul as much as the body. But beneath that pleasant sweetness lies a risk few recognize, especially for those trying to preserve strength, balance, and mobility in their later years. Mangoes may look innocent, but they're loaded with natural sugars, more than 45 grams in a single medium fruit. That's over 11 teaspoons. Most of it in the form of fructose. Now, the fructose doesn't behave in the body the same way as regular sugar. It doesn't spike your blood sugar immediately, so it often escapes notice. But once inside, it's routed almost entirely through the liver. And that's where the trouble begins. In younger, active bodies, a bit of extra fructose can be tolerated. But for seniors, whose liver function, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic flexibility may already be compromised, this sudden sugar load creates internal chaos. The liver begins converting excess fructose into fat, a process that contributes to the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And that, in turn, sets off a chain reaction that can be devastating for muscle health. You see, once inflammation begins to rise and insulin signaling weakens, your muscles, especially those in the legs, struggle to receive the nutrients and energy they need to stay strong and coordinated. Repair slows, muscle fibers shrink, and before long, even simple tasks like standing up or walking up a step begin to feel harder than they should. What seems like everyday fatigue or just getting older might in fact be the gradual impact of too much hidden sugar in your diet. Mangoes being a major, if unexpected, contributor. It's not just about the sugar, either. Mangoes are relatively low in fiber compared to how sweet they are, meaning the sugar rushes into your system with little resistance. Without fiber to slow absorption, your body is left scrambling to manage the energy spike, often storing the excess as fat rather than using it for strength or repair. Over time, this contributes not only to leg weakness, but to a general sense of instability and slower recovery after exertion. Now, having a few slices of mango here and there isn't the issue. But for seniors, regularly snacking on mangoes, especially without pairing them with protein or healthy fats, can quietly sabotage the muscles that keep you upright and independent. And just when you thought you'd spotted the biggest sugar culprit, there's something else even more deceiving. A drink found in nearly every fridge, dressed up in wellness claims, but delivering a hidden blow to your body's strength from the inside out. 4. Packaged fruit juices. The disguised danger in a glass. There's a reason fruit juice has long been seen as a symbol of health. It's colorful, convenient, and often dressed up with words like 100% natural or no added sugar. For older adults, a glass of orange juice with breakfast or a bit of apple juice mid-morning has become a daily habit, something that feels comforting and harmless. But that sense of reassurance may be leading many seniors down a troubling path. Beneath the bright packaging and familiar taste, most packaged fruit juices are quietly accelerating the loss of leg strength and undermining overall mobility. The problem begins with sugar specifically. How much of it is concentrated into just one glass? A single cup of apple juice, for instance, can contain more than 25 grams of sugar. That's the equivalent of 6 or 7 teaspoons. All delivered without the fiber you'd get from eating the whole fruit. And that missing fiber makes a world of difference. Without it, the sugars hit your bloodstream like a flood. Blood sugar rises sharply. Insulin is released in a surge, and your body is forced to react quickly and aggressively. This fast sugar absorption isn't just about brief energy spikes and inevitable crashes. Over time, it promotes chronic inflammation deep in the muscles, joints, and nervous system. For seniors, this inflammation is particularly harmful. It disrupts the communication between your brain and muscles, weakening the neuromuscular connection that allows your legs to move smoothly, maintain balance, and respond with power. Tasks that once felt automatic, standing, walking, climbing stairs, become slower, shakier, more uncertain. And there's more. Most juices are pasteurized and processed to preserve shelf life, which strips them of much of their original nutritional value. What remains is a heavily concentrated source of fructose, the type of sugar primarily metabolized by the liver in aging bodies. This places added strain on liver function, encourages fat accumulation, and worsens insulin resistance. The downstream effect: accelerated muscle loss, reduced energy metabolism, and an increased risk of sarcopenia, the very condition that robs older adults of strength and independence. Even juices labeled "no added sugar" aren't safe. Their naturally occurring sugars are already more than what the aging body can process comfortably in liquid form. When consumed daily, they silently chip away at muscular stability and overall resilience. What was once considered a healthy staple becomes a hidden factor in declining physical function. And if that wasn't enough, what comes next may be even more surprising. A fruit widely praised for its anti-inflammatory powers, yet hiding sugars and acids that can stiffen your joints and quietly drain the energy from your legs. Step by step. 5. Pineapple. The acidic culprit hiding behind a golden glow. There's something instantly uplifting about pineapple. The bright yellow flesh, the tropical sweetness, and the way it seems to offer a burst of sunshine with every bite. For many older adults, it feels like a natural choice when craving something light and refreshing. It's often celebrated for containing bromelain, an enzyme said to support digestion and reduce inflammation, which only adds to its health halo. But while the reputation of pineapple suggests benefit, the reality for seniors can be quite different and far less forgiving. What often gets overlooked is just how much sugar is packed into this seemingly innocent fruit. A single cup of pineapple delivers about 16 grams of sugar, most of it in the form of simple carbohydrates that your body absorbs quickly. This wouldn't be such a problem in youth, when insulin function is sharp and metabolism is more forgiving. But in an aging body, especially one already dealing with prediabetes, insulin resistance, or slower glucose processing, that fast sugar load can become a major stressor. The result is a spike in blood sugar, followed by systemic inflammation, and this inflammation tends to settle in the very tissues seniors need to protect most of the joints, the muscles, and the nerves. That inflammatory response doesn't just affect comfort. It affects function. When your body is inflamed, muscle signals weaken, coordination falters, and joints begin to feel stiffer. For seniors who rely on lower body strength and joint flexibility to stay mobile and independent, this can trigger a chain reaction. Pain in the knees or hips causes you to favor one leg over another, or avoid certain movements altogether. Over time, this leads to muscular underuse, especially in the fast twitch fibers responsible for maintaining balance and preventing falls. And the more these muscles shrink from disuse, the harder it becomes to reclaim strength and stability. The acidity of pineapple adds another layer of complexity. While the digestive tract of a younger adult may handle it without issue, Many seniors experience gastrointestinal sensitivity or mild arthritis that can be aggravated by acidic foods. Regularly consuming pineapple under these conditions can subtly worsen joint discomfort, increase swelling, or even lead to lingering digestive unease, all of which reduce your willingness to move and engage in physical activity. That hesitancy compounds the decline. It's not that pineapple has no merit. In moderation and with careful pairing, it may still offer benefits for some, but the idea that it's a universally healthy choice for seniors is misleading. For many, it quietly contributes to the very issues they're trying to overcome. Now that we've laid bare these hidden consequences, it's time to look ahead. Because there are fruits out there that do the opposite. They rebuild strength, support muscle health, and protect against falls. And they deserve a place at the center of every senior's diet. 6. Keeping your legs strong is keeping your life long. Our legs have carried us further than we often realize. Quietly, faithfully, they've supported every stage of life, from hurried childhood steps to long days on our feet, raising families, to the slower, more deliberate movements of later years. They rarely ask for much, but eventually, they begin to show the signs of all they've done for us. And when they do, the change is subtle at first. A hesitation when standing, a wobble on the stairs, the unspoken worry that one small misstep might lead to something far more serious. What's important to understand is this: when the legs begin to weaken, the ripple effect reaches every corner of life. It's not just about strength, it's about confidence, balance, and the freedom to move through the world without fear. Mobility is one of the greatest markers of independence. And as it fades, so can our connection to the things that give life meaning. But the legs themselves are not the only factor. They are the result of a complex conversation happening inside your body. Your nervous system must send signals quickly and clearly. Your circulation has to deliver oxygen and nutrients where they're needed. Your joints, metabolism, and even brain function are all contributors to every step you take. When one part of that system struggles, the rest must work harder to keep up. Over time, those cracks begin to show not just in how we walk, but in how we feel, how we think, and how fully we can live. The decline of leg strength is rarely loud. It doesn't announce itself with a bang. It slips in gradually, disguised as normal aging. But it is not inevitable. The human body, even in its 60s, 70s, and beyond, still listens. It still responds. With the right support, it still heals. Strength can be rebuilt. Stability can be restored. And vitality can return. But only if we stop treating decline as destiny. The truth is, every small choice you make matters. The food you place on your plate, the movements you practice each day, the belief you hold about your own capacity to change, these are the quiet acts that shape not just how long you live, but how well you live. Your legs aren't just limbs. They're your roots. They ground you. They carry your memories, your responsibilities, your desires. And they deserve care not just with exercise, but with thoughtful nourishment. Too often, conversations about healthy aging focus on mobility and fitness alone. But food, what we eat daily, is just as essential, because not all foods support strength. In fact, some that appear harmless, or even beneficial, can slowly work against the very systems that keep you strong. Among these, certain fruits stand out. Natural, yes, but helpful for everyone, at every age. Not always. Some fruits act in the body like refined sugar, delivering quick spikes in blood glucose that lead to crashes in energy, inflammation in the joints, and a weakening of the critical pathways between the brain and the muscles. These fruits may taste sweet and look wholesome, but they can be quietly undermining leg strength, stability, and overall function. That's not to say they're toxic or should never be touched, but for an aging body, moderation, awareness, and substitution matter. The good news is, this isn't about restriction. It's about intention. There are fruits equally delicious, deeply nourishing that work in harmony with the body's changing needs. They support circulation, reduce inflammation, protect memory, and help preserve the muscle tone and nerve function that keep you walking strong. Choosing them isn't a sacrifice. It's a celebration of what your body still can do, and how you can help it continue to do it for years to come. This shift in mindset is powerful. It moves you from feeling at the mercy of aging to taking an active role in shaping your own experience. Your body may be older, yes, but it is still yours. It is still capable of change. The aches, the stiffness, the hesitations you feel are not signs of failure. They are signals asking for better support. Listening to them with care and compassion can open the door to a new chapter, one defined not by decline, but by renewal. As we move forward, we'll take a closer look at the specific fruits that may be quietly interfering with your strength, and how you can begin replacing them with better choices. The goal here isn't to scare or shame, but to empower, to help you feel not just informed, but hopeful. Because no matter where you are right now, strength, clarity, and balance are still within reach. Let this be your reminder. Aging doesn't have to mean shrinking into the background of your own life. It can mean stepping into it more fully, with wisdom, with confidence, and with a body that reflects the care you give it, one step at a time. Starting today.